Hello everyone, it's Alisha Brasher here at Cosmic Gateway. This is the intuitive insights for the first fortnight of September 2019. Reading C for this card here. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you had a beautiful fortnight since the last reading. Interesting. I'm giggling because this is the second time I've gone to do this. This video because I thought the audio was jumping or the video was jumping, and so there were a couple of cards that I'd already selected, and as I've gone to shuffle they were already flipped on the reverse. So obviously we've got to keep going with these cards, just in a different format by the looks of it. So interesting. Let's see what we've got going on here. Wow, okay, cool. All right, so the first two cards, we've got the Four of Water and we've got the Eight of Water. So we've got the Four of Water talks about feeling as though there's like a missed opportunity or feeling disappointed, boredom, and being able to open up to new possibilities and opportunities. So we've got that card here. And then we've got the Eight of Water, which is the desire to move on and searching for something more meaningful. So we've got those two there. I'll get out the other two cards because then I'll get into how the story wants to come through. We've got two major arcana. So we've got the Awakening, and we've got the Wheel. So looking at things from a different perspective. Temporary standstill. I think the Awakening is the Hanged Man in the traditional tarot, and it's important to be yourself. I think, oh, that's an interesting line. So we've got that one there, awakening, and then we've got the Wheel. So a positive change, situation suddenly moves forward, fortune is on your side. There we go. Cool, awesome. Interesting themes here. Okay, so obviously we've got to start off, or we've got this whole feeling as though you're missing out or reflecting on the past in some way, wishing things had worked out differently, or trying to analyze why things are the way that they are. So the word boredom, I want to say discontentment. There's a real feeling of discontentment or unease that's happening around this particular scenario. So we've got that going on, and then this desire to move on. So this could be a situation in your life, a cycle in your life. It could have to do with relationships or family, business or projects. So take it how it applies to you. I'm not getting a real hit either way on any at the moment, but there's this, I guess there's this turning point where sometimes when we can be in discontentment energy, it's because something's not spiritually aligned with us. There's like this discord in how our higher self is placed and our human self, and there's this misalignment is what I'm feeling. There's this like it may be very, very minute, but it's, kind of misaligned. And so this is kind of forcing us on a quest of searching and moving beyond, or finding, embarking on a quest of self-discovery. I want to say attainment of self. Now, I don't know if that makes sense, but self-fulfilling prophecy to obtain something or to achieve something within in remembrance or awakening of self. These are the kind of the words that are coming through, because there's like in the human life there's like this boredom or looking around, nothing kind of feels right, or things feel different or weird or not comfortable. Let's say it like that. Things don't feel comfortable. That's a very polite word. Things feel very really heavy, and there's this almost like a slight higher awareness that there is so much more out there. There is so much more that you could be doing, experiencing, enjoying, knowing, understanding. And that's your higher self or your soul, that's calling you into this pathway of where you're being directed to go. So I feel that, like, by walking through there feels like, unlodging and discovering a lot of stuff and throwing out a lot of things that don't align in your life anymore. That it feels like kind of a purification and clearing as you're going through this phase. Or perhaps I just want to say, perhaps I'm talking about something that you've already gone through. So, time's not so, linear. So take it as it applies to you. But there's this, like, kind of purification of things moving out of your life. And I'm seeing this image of a tunnel. So as you're going through that tunnel, things are starting to make more sense as this light's sort of like emerging and coming closer to you. And it's almost like, yeah, you're standing still in time, because it's like you're looking back and you're seeing how far you've come and how different your life looked, whether it's a year or 2 years or, a decade ago. And then you're looking forward at, oh, I get chills. And then you're looking forward at this tunnel, and this light, you're standing still, and this light starts to kind of move towards you. And I think that what I'm getting at is there's this analogy of walking through some really dark phases in your life, and you get to this midway point where it's like the light starts to come to meet you. Isn't that beautiful? So it's like you've worked hard towards moving out of this space, and because you get to that place, you're kind of being met halfway. So, obviously, this is an analogy. I'm seeing it quite symbolic. This could be in relation to a relationship and another person. This could be, your soul work or your mission or your project. Take it as it applies, but it's like working really, really hard, getting here, and then you're being met halfway. You're being met halfway. um, which is so beautiful. So things start to look differently, you start to perceive it, and then you get the wheel. So that, there's this whole change in cycle. Things start to take on a more positive upswing approach. Things then start to move forward. At a velocity, at a rate that it wasn't before, because you kind of been planted in this standstill, so you can kind of take inventory and check on where you've been and what's been playing out. Whew, this is beautiful. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna have to try and ooh, okay. This is just getting more and more interesting by the second. I am loving these readings. These are just fabulous. Let's see what other. I love it how it becomes more and more clear and more as. No, nothing. No. Okay, so I've just pulled the home card, Vesta. So your household situation is improving, either through a move or healthy changes in the occupants or occupancy. So this could be a whole scenario on home, but what is home? Is that a physical location? Is that moving house? Is that moving space? Moving in with someone? Or is it a sense of home, finding that sense of home within yourself? That can be taken in a myriad of ways. So interesting card that's come up. So, moving on, I feel. Moving on into a more supportive environment. So it could also be work related too. But yeah, just this fresh, pristine, and I saw the tree, the Gaia card. It could just be moving into a different space within yourself, like a new reality. But yeah, home is quite present. So home, in however that means to you. But it's moving into a really nice, pristine place, which feels really, really nice. It feels really comfortable. really comfortable, spacious, comfortable. Let's see what else wants to come out. They don't want to. They don't want to play. Come on. Is there anything else that wants to come out? It's already quite. No. Alright, I'm gonna just try one more. See if the goddess card wants to go out. If not, we might just. Isn't that funny? Nothing else wants to come out. Oh no, we got one. Ah, okay, cool. Beautiful. So we've got Kali. We've got endings and beginnings. So the old must release. So that in order for the new can enter. So, we've got a couple of cards now talking about ending of cycles, and starting over new. So whether that's home or relationships or work, it could be a combination of all three, perhaps. But yeah, tying off loose ends, and quite often when we are, I always like to remind myself of this, is when we're moving into a new space and entering into a new phase, that quite often, painful things can come up, because, before we move into that new energy, it's about making space, right? We're making space. So quite often there can be, confusion or, healing before we move into that new space. That, that Lao Tzu, beautiful Lao Tzu quote of how new beginnings are sometimes disguised as painful endings. Maybe I got that the wrong way around, but you get what I mean. Let's see if there's one more card that just wants to come through, just to finalize. Okay, cool, beautiful. They made me wait. They made me wait. So we've got serendipity and the beloved. So, God, these are gorgeous cards here. So the serendipity card, obviously, talks about synchronistic events leading you to the pathway. I love it when the light just sort of emanated then. So, and this one often talks about a time frame, somewhere between 3-month time frame, give or take, of, and what I want to say is that sometimes when we know that a pathway is opening up, or a change, or a move of house, or residence, or work, or relationships, that sometimes we can get the heads up, and then we start to kind of move forward, and we can kind of get taken on a bit of a zigzag. And so, and that's part of that process of moving into that new space, however that looks, however that applies. But it's kind of beautiful, because then when we get to there, we realize that we had to go through all that. So the serendipity card talks about, people or situations coming in that are just so orchestrated, so divinely orchestrated to get you where you're meant to be. And then, of course, we've got the beloved card, which is kind of my divine partnership card of this deck. It talks about a connection of two people, or the deepening of a connection of two people, and how that has a profound effect for your entire life. For memory, I'm going to read, just as I'm finishing them off, all with reading, because the messages really are so beautiful. So, the beloved, your heart is opening and full of love. Because of this, magical blessings are drawn to you. If you are single, a loving relationship will soon be formed, which will transform your life. If you're already in a relationship, then the relationship is about to deepen and also transform in some way. Love is a timeless state, which all is spiritually interconnected. You will soon feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude for your life through your relationship with your beloved. Valuable insights are gained, and you each bring out the best in one another. Love is the gateway to an endless universe where light of billion stars forever glows through one eternal spirit. Oh my God. I love these cards. I've always loved these cards. I've had them for like over 10 years now. So just to wrap up, there's elements here, but it really is about, moving into new cycles. There's a home theme, and just being guided by those serendipitous synchronous synchronistic events that lead you to where you meant to be. So pay attention to those. And of course, we've got the beloved card, so that could be talking about reigniting of a relationship, or a new relationship blooming, however that applies to you. But really, I want to say a spiritually evolving relationship, so it could even be the connection to yourself, and how you're spiritually evolving. So I hope that helps someone. I hope that resonates with someone out there. If you are interested in connecting with me, whether it's to book a session, I do have the 9/9 transmission coming up. So I'm very excited about that. I will put all the details in the description box below. And if not, have an amazing fortnight. Mwah! Sending much love.